Since 2014, the government introduced some permitted development rights to convert things like this, which is office space, into residential C3 flats. Now we're in Tame, which is in South Oxfordshire today, looking at one of the purchases of XP property behind me, which Aura Architecture and Interiors will be designing into a number of flats. We've also got a pre-planning application in the car park to get 4 additional houses, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how we've gone through that process, how we're phasing the development and all the planning applications that we'll be going through, and what this will become once it's finished. So the site was bought as 17,000 square feet of office space. It had planning approval, or has planning approval under Class O, which is one of the old permitted development rights, for 22 flats. Now, the Class O planning application had a time limit of 3 years. Now, normally planning applications say you need to start the works within 3 years. Class O planning applications, you need to have finished the work by 3 years' time. So there's a time clock on delivery of these units, which is why we're going to be utilising one of the new planning applications under permitted development called Class MA. Class MA is a new planning application that does the same thing, allows you to convert office space into C3 residential use, but with Class MA, there is not a 3-year time frame on the delivery. So it means that we will allow us to have a bit more breathing space in terms of the delivery of this site and allow us to extend the completion to pretty much indefinitely because the works would have started. We are converting this into, originally as part of phase 1, 9 units. We're stood in one of the office units that's going to be turned into a 2-bedroom flat. We've got windows both sides, 2 bedrooms to the rear, family bathroom and ensuite, and then this will actually become the nice big kitchen, dining, living space. This is phase 1 of the development. This is a really, really complicated project. It's going to have phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and very briefly, phase 1 is 9 units. Phase 2 will be the 3 units next door, and phase 4 will be converting the wing of the building facing the car park into another 9 units. So we will have 12 here, 9 there, and then actually we've submitted recently a pre-planning application for 4 Mews Houses in the car park. And then actually we will be retaining parts of the wing to the front of the site in commercial space as well. So 4,000 square feet of commercial space will be retained. So really exciting project. The GDV on this project will be over £10 million. So stay tuned to see more. So as an architectural practice, we will always be looking for ways to add value for our clients. Now, adding space is often the best way that we can do that. What we found in this commercial conversion is that we have really, really high ceilings. The ceilings here are almost 4.5 metres high internally. So what we want to be doing with this particular unit is adding a mezzanine level deck that provides a home working space for the occupants. Massive added value. The scope of it is there, and that's the sort of viewpoint we come from a design perspective to add value to our property developer clients. So one of the ways that we've added significant amount of value to these flats is by reducing the number of stair cores within the building. So at the moment, with the approved planning application that we've taken on from another architect, each section of this building had a single stair core for each 3 units. The central section allows us to remove one of the stair cores and bring all of that space back into the floor plate to use as net saleable area. So we've increased the floor area of each floor by 10% by shrinking from 2 stair cores to 1 stair core. Huge added value, loads more net saleable space, and huge value added to the property developer. I mentioned some benefits around the Class MA permitted development rights that you have. Now, one of the things that often accompanies those planning applications is some type of external works as well. The Class MA kind of changes the use and makes the internal space into residential, but often there are ways of enhancing that internal layout by making external alterations. That may mean putting in new roof lights, may mean changing some windows, may mean adding some doors and some French doors and some Juliet balconies. One of the things that we're doing on this particular site, at first floor, we're looking to add a projected balcony out the front to provide private amenity for the first floor occupants, and then up in this loft space, what we're looking to do here behind me is create an inset balcony. So basically dropping all of this down, dropping these windows down, creating some bifolding doors, having a glazed balcony to the front of the property, and creating a terrace that the occupants of this loft unit, which will be a 1-bedroom, will have access to. So when we first came to this site, we could see there's lots of added potential value in this car parking space. There's 56 parking spaces. Not all of those are going to be needed for the use of the site. There's clearly a potential massing that we could have put in this space, and that's what we've submitted. So we've submitted a pre-planning application for 4 houses in this car park where I'm standing. The idea was to try and, from a design perspective, create a massing that kind of pushed the envelope of what we think is possible, step down from what is actually a really high commercial building down to the buildings to the front of the site. So we go from sort of circa 10 metres in height down to kind of 9, down to 8, so that we've got that kind of stepped approach linking the commercial side of the site to the residential site and retail site on the main high street. What we've ended up with is 4 cute Mews houses, 2 beds split over 3 floors, all of about 90 square metres, and gardens to the rear and parking to the front. So we'll see what the planners say about this. We are on the very cusp of a conservation area. We do have to be sensitive to some listed buildings around us, but as Aura Architecture, that's our job to basically try and maximise what we can get from this site, work within the planning policies, work with the planning officers, and try and find a solution that works for our property developer clients and the council. Now, whenever architects or designers start appraising a site, the first starting point should always be the site context. What is the space around them? How is what you're going to design fitting in with that? There are a number of constraints on this project, and I'm going to talk through a couple of them now. First of all, we've got some neighbouring properties with windows at first floor level directly overlooking towards the site. We've got access and fire escapes from neighbouring garages and storage, which we need to be considerate of. We've got something always to look out for when you're designing sites is which direction the sun path travels. We've also got to be conscious that the existing office behind us that will be converted into flats will be looking out onto our massing our new houses. So the separation distances need to be considered. One of the big constraints here in trying to optimise the massing and number of units we can get on the site is actually the car parking. So we need to balance the number of car parking spaces that are needed for the site versus how many car parking spaces we can remove to actually get the new houses in situ. And a big thing that is often overlooked is bikes and bin stores. At Aura Architecture and Interiors, we specialise in commercial conversions like this. We understand how permitted development rights work for you as property developers, we maximise the internal layouts, we optimise the efficiency and ultimately add a lot of value to you. If you're interested in working with us, drop a comment below, follow us, email info@aurahomes.co.uk or watch out for some of our new projects here.